Hello everyone, welcome to my kitchen. I'm Valmore. I'm going back to the Elder Scrolls Cookbook today, and even though last week I brought you 2 recipes from the Overwatch Cookbook, I'm going to do it again this week. 1, I just kind of want to. 2, probably a little bit of poor planning on my part. And 3, to also show off that not all the doubled up recipes are going to include a beverage. The first is going to be an hors d'oeuvre of peaches, brie, and prosciutto. And the second is going to be a dish of spiced apples and cheese. That can be either a dessert or a side dish, depending on the type of cheese you want to use. The recipe calls for blue cheese, so that would make this a bit more on the side dish. This is Bosmer Bites and Stewed Apples with Eidar Cheese. Let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make Nord spices. Another one of the spice mixtures in this book that is part of the apples. And that starts with grains of paradise, and I'm actually first going to grind those down. Next I'm going to put in cardamom, cinnamon, mace, and cloves. I'm just going to stir that around to mix everything together. For the Bosmer Bites, I am going to pit and slice some peaches. And for the apples, well, I'm going to core and dice some apples. So I'm going to make a balsamic vinegar glaze for my bites, which is going to start with balsamic vinegar, sugar, and salt. And then I'm going to bring this up to a boil and let it reduce. I'm looking for it to reduce by about half, which should take about 20 minutes. While I wait for that to reduce, I'm going to put the apples into a pan. And I'm going to stir those around for a few minutes until the apples get tender. I seem to have misinterpreted a part of the crostata recipe, because the flavor text says the crostata is popularly made with Eidar cheese. And since the recipe was using Gruyere, I assumed that Eidar cheese was basically a Swiss cheese. But this recipe directly refers to Eidar cheese in the title, and it calls for blue cheese. So I either misinterpreted the flavor text of the last one, and they were just saying that Eidar cheese is a good substitution, or the writers like using the name of the cheese because Eidar cheese is one of the most common items found in Skyrim. The Bosmer are an elven people of Tamriel, and are also referred to as wood elves. They made a promise called the Green Pact to the forest deity Ifri, I'm not sure how that's supposed to be pronounced. In this pact, they promise not to harm the plants of their forest home. This makes them a carnivorous group of elves, a 180 compared to most of the elves we see in games and literature who are almost strictly vegetarian. In one of the descriptions of this book that they have about the Bosmer, it claims that their Green Pact allows them to eat fruit as long as it has already fallen off the tree. But I am getting some mixed information from that, because the only other thing I have to go off of is what it says on the wiki. And the wiki just straight up says they're carnivores. They don't eat any vegetation, any plant matter, just the meat and whatever products come from animals like milk and cheese. But frankly, I don't see why they wouldn't be allowed to harvest the fallen fruits. They're already down. It wouldn't really, I don't think it would go against the pact. So I'm going to believe the book on this one. Now that the apples have softened up, I'm going to add currants, brown sugar, my Nord spices. I'm going to stir all that together. I'm also going to add in a cornstarch mixture, stir that together and let it cook up for a minute or so. And then I will serve it up and top it with some crumbled blue cheese. Now to assemble my bites, I'm going to cut a little bit of cheese. Spread it on the peach. And then I'm going to wrap it in the prosciutto. And then I'm going to skewer it. And then I'm just going to drizzle a little bit of the glaze on it. So while these two dishes may not have been the perfect thing to pair together, individually they were each fantastic. And I know some of you are not interested at all in the blue cheese apple combination. And I understand. Blue cheese is a very pungent and strong flavor, but the sweet apples, the brown sugar, the spices mellow it out a lot, and you're left with just this incredibly interesting flavor. And if you like blue cheese, do something else with your blue cheese besides salad and chicken wings. It can do a lot, and it is very good with these apples. The Bosmer Bites are wonderful as well. Prosciutto and brie, I think, is a can't miss combination. When you add it in with the peaches and you get a little bit of that balsamic glaze on it, you just get this wonderful piece of food that has everything. It has salty, sweet, it has acid, it has creamy. It's an absolutely wonderful little bite of food. I would recommend, though, that you wait a little bit until the peaches are in season if you're gonna make it. I was excited for it, so I thought, the peaches would be fine. And they're fine, but they're missing just a little bit of that depth of flavor that you get when they are in season. I hope you enjoyed. You can follow me on Instagram or Twitter at chef_Velmore. The links will be in the description below. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and come on back next week for another recipe.